So guys, there's a lot of really cool stuff going on in the AI space right now. A lot of it is not coming from the large major companies, Meta AI or OpenAI or Microsoft. No, we are seeing advancements from these little sprout ups that we didn't even know existed. And I keep getting asked about this one thing called Devin. I don't know what it is. It looks like something related to coding. Follow along with me. I'm going to take my first look at this thing and give you my impressions. People will not stop talking about it. So this is by Cognition Labs. Today we're excited to introduce Devin, the first AI software engineer. It says that it is state-of-the-art and on the SWE bench coding benchmark has successfully passed practical engineering interviews from leading AI companies. Okay, that's a big deal. What this insinuates is that this Devin coding AI software engineer can pass the practical engineering interview and work by completing real jobs, so it can actually work as if a human would. That's what I'm picking up so far, although I'll be honest guys, I'm pretty skeptical. We know AI can code with the likes of GPT-4 Turbo, or Claude 3 is also really good at coding, but entire jobs and projects, that's a whole nother list than just generating code for one specific scenario. It's an autonomous agent that solves engineering tasks through the use of its own shell, code editor, and web browser. Okay. So for those of you who aren't aware, a shell is basically its own operating system, more or less. So the SWE benchmark asks an AI to resolve GitHub issues found in real-world open source projects. Devin correctly resolves almost 14% of the issues unassisted. Wow. That might not seem like a lot, but just to set the AI off and go fix a problem all by itself, that's pretty remarkable. Far exceeding the previous state-of-the-art model performance of, wow, less than 2% unassisted and almost 5% assisted beforehand. So yeah, this is definitely autonomous agent. Orders of magnitude better than anything we've seen previously with this, according to this post. So they've got a little video. I definitely want to check that out. As you can see, they have a blog post here. So let's just take a look at the whole thing.
Hey, I'm Scott from Cognition AI, and today I'm really excited to introduce you to Devin, the first AI software engineer. Let me show you an example of Devin in action. I'm going to ask Devin to benchmark the performance of Llama on a couple different API providers. From now on, Devin is in the driver's seat. First, Devin makes a step-by-step plan of how to tackle the problem. After that, it builds the whole project using all the same tools that a human software engineer would use. Devin has its own command line, its own code editor, and even its own browser. In this case, Devin decides to use the browser to pull up API documentation so that it can read up and learn how to plug into each of these APIs. Here, Devin runs into an unexpected error. Devin actually decides to add a debugging print statement, reruns the code with the debugging print statement, and then uses the error in the logs to figure out how to fix the bug. Finally, Devin decides to build and deploy a website with full styling as the visualization. You can see the website here. All of this is possible today because of the advances that we've made in both reasoning and long-term planning. It's a really hard problem, and we've only just started, but we're super excited about the progress that we've made so far.
Hang on. Devin and GPT-4 are evaluated on a random 25% subset. Devin results are unassisted, whereas all other model results here are assisted, meaning the model is told exactly which files need to be edited. Devin can do that all autonomously, sure, because obviously just a raw LLM can't, but is this its own separate model? Is this a fine-tune? What is this? I have so many questions.
In the meantime, if you'd like to try out Devin on your own real-world tasks, send us a request below, and we'd be happy to forward it to Devin.
Okay, so it's locked down for the time being. This is not a public release by any means. So what they don't really explain here is that Devin is more than just a software engineer. This is a general use, I'd imagine, autonomous AI agent like we have never seen before. This is really competitive, and this is definitely a little bit of outside the box in comparison to anything that we've seen from, let's say OpenAI, for example. This is the level of automation that I would expect out of something like GPT-5, just to be fair, just to be frank. And it's really, really promising looking. The first thing they ask this thing to do, which is to benchmark Llama 2 on 3 different providers via the API, is not exactly the easiest task in the world to complete. It has to figure out their API formats and write a script that sends the same prompt/parameters to all of them. And it's able to complete that task, and it even, as shown, runs into an error, which is typically the crux for a lot of these autonomous AI agents. But it's able to actually fix it all on its own and take care of business, even creating a nice visual website that completes it. And man, that is just really darn impressive. It's cool that it has its own planning structure, its own web browsing feature, its own ability to write scripts, and it can all be managed at once. This is absolutely new levels of things that I have never seen before. I mean, that's just it, man. This is pretty interesting to me. These AI large language models aren't necessarily meant to do these software engineering performances on these benchmarks. So while this is impressive, this is just showing us that Devin is sort of the first of its kind in this level of work. And obviously there's a large language model running under the hood that's managing all of this, writing all of the code, getting these plans out the door. But man, the era of autonomous agents is really upon us. You can also upload files. I wonder how that could work. The one thing that I am a little bit interested in is how well will this thing work for the regular Joe Schmo like me? I'm not a coder. I'm not a software engineer, so I would know that I want, Llama 2 to be benchmarked on 3 different providers, but I wouldn't have the smarts to tell it, figure out the API formats and write a script that does this. I wouldn't be able to prompt it in that way because I'm not a coding person. I'm just a regular Joe Schmo. So that's one thing I am wondering about. I would be really, really interested to find out what large language model is powering Devin under the hood, because I would be hard-pressed to believe that they just developed their own large language model. Devin is a tireless, skilled teammate, equally ready to build alongside you or independently complete tasks for you to review. With Devin, engineers can focus more on interesting problems, and engineering teams can strive for more ambitious goals. I like how right away they are saying that it's a skilled teammate that is equally ready to build alongside you, not replace you. Although I can see companies that would probably try to replace people with something like this because it does seem very capable. And speaking of capabilities, so they've made advances in long-term reasoning and planning. Devin can plan and execute complex engineering tasks requiring thousands of decisions. Wow, thousands. Recall relevant context at every step, learn over time, and fix mistakes. Equipped Devin with common developer tools, the shell, code editor, browser, sandboxed compute environment, everything a human would need to do their work. They've given Devin the ability to actively collaborate with the user. Devin reports on its progress in real time, accepts feedback, and works together with you through design choices as needed. That is very important for having these autonomous AI agents work effectively. Communication back with the user on the end goal and whether something is verified or checked off. That's extremely important. So here's some more examples of Devin working. Okay. After reading a blog post, Devin runs ControlNet on Modal to produce images with concealed messages.
Hey everyone, my name is Sarah, and I'm going to show you how Devin, our AI software engineer, can autonomously learn from a blog post. Within a few minutes, Devin successfully generated this desktop background image for me with my name on it. So all I had to do was send this blog post in a message to Devin. From there, Devin actually does all the work for me, starting with reading this blog post and figuring out how to run the code. In a couple of minutes, Devin's actually made a lot of progress. And if we jump to the middle here, you can see that Devin's been able to find and fix some edge cases and bugs that the blog post did not cover for me. And if we jump to the end, we can see that Devin sends me the final result, which I love. I also got 2 bonus images here and here. So let me know if you guys see anything hidden in these. Hey everyone.
That's pretty incredible. I mean, again, this is outside of the bounds of probably what I would be able to figure out how to do. Requires some prerequisite knowledge to learn how to run things like that just based off a blog post. And it seems like they were able to equip Devin in this scenario with the necessary resources, aka a computer with a GPU that can generate AI imagery, or perhaps they used an API, but wow, it's just really darn cool. We can also see here Devin is making the game of life. Build and deploy apps end to end. And if you guys don't know what the game of life is, it's kind of its own little rabbit hole, but I'll just show you guys the YouTube video.
Hi, I'm Adyan, and today I felt like playing the game of life. So I asked Devin to implement it for me. Devin started by creating a new React application using the shell, and then it started writing some code through its editor.
Can I just say that I really like the user interface here? You can click on each task and see where it completed that task. That's so cool.
It deployed the app through Netlify.
There it is.
That seems nice. But there's a lot more features which I want to add. So let's ask Devin to do this one at a time. The words Devin to be written at the initialization screen instead of it being random. Then I want the word to be slightly bigger and the frame rate to be faster. I also want him to fix a bug where the screen gets freezed after 3 seconds. Let's see the progress Devin has made so far. And the last diff shows that Devin just fixed the bug where the screen gets frozen after 3 seconds. Seems reasonable to me, so let's move on.
Wow, so it was able to spell Devin here. That's incredible how it was able to figure out how to do this, by the way. That is nuts, because I don't think there's a vision capability in this. It just knew the way in which it needed to write Devin in, but I don't know. That's just crazy to me.
Started with Devin, which is what we asked for. When I click something,
yeah, now you can draw.
That's fun.
That's so cool.
Let's play around with it.
It works, man. It freaking works, that's for sure. Again, that's some capabilities that are way outside what I would be able to do. I mean, it would take me a lot of basic learnings about how to code to actually get to the level of creation for this and actually solve bugs as well. I mean, here, autonomously find and fix bugs in code bases, train and fine-tune its own AI models. Wow, they did pull up the receipts here on how good this thing is. I gotta learn about the AI models.
Today, I'm gonna show you an AI training an AI. So here we're gonna take the QLoRa repo, which is a fine-tuning method for quantizing large language models. We're gonna feed this repo to our agent, Devin, and all we have to ask Devin is to fine-tune a 7B llama model. Devin clones the repo, how to run it using the README, sets up all of the requirements using pip, looks through all the scripts, and is able to start running the training job. There are a few hiccups. Devin runs into some CUDA issues, which is to be expected with open source repos, but it's not a problem. Devin looks at the NVIDIA environment and figures out how to reinstall the packages to make it work.
Wow, dude, that is
more
nuts.
Runs, figure out the correct model names. Devin successfully gets the training run working. Here we see training proceeding smoothly, loss is going down, few steps, looks pretty good. I tell Devin to wait as the training job runs. After about an hour, I come back, ask Devin, hey, how's the training going? Devin helps me look. A few hundred steps are done now, and everything is still proceeding smoothly.
Wow.
Looks great. Thanks, Devin, for helping me set up my training run.
What? I'm just blown away, guys. This is crazy. Does OpenAI have anything with this level of capability? People don't realize this is not just, constrained to the bounds of coding at all, like not even close. It's insane that you're able to check in with it after an hour. I haven't seen any autonomous agent that's able to work on a task for over an hour and just be like, yeah, everything's going well, it's just taking a long time to do the, fine-tuning of an LLM. That's nuts, dude. That's just absolutely nuts. The fact that it can control a computer and has its own ability to write scripts and whatnot, that is huge. Oh man, it's just waiting too. How much would this cost? How much would you be willing to pay for something like this? I would really love to get access to this thing. Early access as we ramp up capacity to start using Devin for engineering work. Please reach out here or get in touch. Yeah, and I mean, you guys can go to the website if you want to check out the rest of these demos. They're pretty freaking amazing. I gotta think here. This is the most capable AI agent that I have ever witnessed. I mean, I don't have access to it, but man, people, I don't know why they're titling it an AI software engineer, because it is way, way, way more than that. This is the most capable autonomous AI agent we've ever seen. It completes tasks anonymously, and it can do so for hours at a time, and you can just go check in with it. Like, that's a level of stability that we just haven't witnessed yet. What is this hooked up to for a large language model? I assume, it's nothing too special, because I would have guessed that they probably nabbed some open source model, like a Llama 2 based model or Mixtral, whatever. I don't think it's their own unless they're using even the OpenAI API. It's possible this is a GPT-4 based. This is why the AI space is so incredible. One of the main reasons. This is the level of quality and capability I would expect out of like a GPT-5 release from OpenAI, like a big announcement. That is what I would be expecting. And yet it's here coming from Cognition Labs, a little company I've never heard of. The interface is so impressive. Companies would absolutely, replace people with AI bots like this, and people would just learn how to control the bot instead of actually doing all of the dirty work itself, which I guess, that makes sense in a way. I think job displacement absolutely is something that could happen from the release of something like this, but we've already been through that topic with AI so many times. There's so many different sides of the argument, sides of the coin that you can pick for that argument, whether new jobs will just be created because we're leveling up the work as a whole, or we'll have to move away from an economy that requires everybody to work because AI can do so many different things for us now, etc., etc. But this is the future, guys. I mean, we're witnessing the birth of some truly incredible technology, truly powerful technology. Every single demo that they show is something that I would not be able to do myself. I don't see a world in which I could do that reasonably without learning a lot of prerequisite knowledge first or going to school. It's doing problem solving, it's breaking things down, it's creating a list of how to get something done. Imagine this level of coherency applied to the context of the real world. Decision making and autonomous driving, let's say, or completing tasks around the house as an AI bot. Like, I don't think people realize in 20-something years it's going to be at that level where we're going to see bots in people's houses. We're going to see probably entire organizations controlled and just by AI. New products that are developed, new ideologies developed entirely by AI. This is probably one of the most mind-blowing AI applications I've ever seen to date. And normally this would fill me with a lot of excitement, and it is filling me with some excitement, but I was caught off guard by this. This is not something I was anticipating this soon, and I think that's what's disturbing me a little bit, is that my own mental track record of where we were in the world of AI, how far along things are, it's actually farther ahead than I even thought previously, and I keep getting blown away in this manner. The rapid evolution of technology is upon us, people. I mean, buckle up. The average person can barely understand how your computer works or how your cell phone works, let alone this. I mean, are you kidding me? How do you explain this to people? How do you even remotely convince people that this is all going to be okay? Because it's pretty terrifying. This technology, it's the key to humanity being able to finally rest and just explore itself without the constant battling and need for survival. This technology is so powerful. It has the power for so much good and so much bad at the same time. And yeah, it's just giving me a little bit of an existential moment here, I think. I think that's just how powerful it is. So forgive me if I don't seem like myself. I really want access though, guys. I'm going to try to contact them and see if I can possibly get access. I don't know how far OpenAI is along with this. I mean, this is definitely some steps towards like an AGI, right? Where it can iterate and solve problems. What if you hook this thing up to itself? Can it iterate and self-improve? Is that a possibility here? I mean, it must be, considering the capabilities we've seen so far. This is just the first iteration too. I mean, this is the worst that technology is ever going to be. Yeah, 38,000 likes, 20,000 retweets, 23 million views. This thing is blowing up. Software engineers everywhere after seeing what Devin can do, and now they can't feed their families. Yeah, again, that's what I mentioned, how people are going to be extremely terrified of this. Seemingly a flaw in humanity. If it can be done, it will be done. There's no should it be done. And all the AI people are obviously not on that train of thought. But that's how the public is going to react to stuff like this. It's so dang powerful. It's so cool. People have such a negative perspective. How many times do I have to say it, guys? Whether something is good or whether something is bad is entirely based on how you perceive it or how individuals perceive it, right? Something that can be good for one person can be bad for another. So I think my point being here here, just because you see the technology of Devin, let's say, and it seems very powerful, and you can imagine all these horrible things that could happen or spawn from it, does not mean that there are an equal or even greater amount of good things that could spawn or come from it. I truly envision a future, a positive future for humanity, where humans no longer have to step over one another and try to crawl over one another to provide for their families or to fulfill their creative endeavors, because we've created this tool, this autonomous tool that can solve those base level issues for us. And without devolving into too much philosophy, I think people should definitely try to be very open-minded about this technology, because while it is certainly technology that can enslave us, it's also the technology that could free us in ways unimaginable. Please, sirs, my family needs to eat, sirs. Please stop development on this, sirs. I guess everyone's just sort of joking to cope with their fear. Replaced by a machine before even getting the skills and degree. Did you want them in the first place? Or do you have other passions, and this is just a means of getting to those passions through the economy we've all agreed on? Yeah, there's a good one. Can Devin create Devin? That's a great question. Someone points out this is how exponential singularity looks like. I wouldn't necessarily say that because we're only looking at one benchmark here, but exponential growth is certainly something that we could prescribe to AI. And the way I know it's exponential is because it consistently outperforms anything I've ever seen before. Every, prediction that I've made is based on the way I've seen technology grow in my life, personally, and AI continuously blows my mind and exceeds this in every way, and this Devin is no discount to this. If I saw this from GPT-5, I wouldn't be that surprised, but I'm seeing it from a company I never heard of. I'm seeing it from this small little organization, which just tells you, I think, a lot about the power of this technology, just the raw power of the very idea of it, not necessarily what one company can do or several companies can do. This looks amazing, but wondering why y'all didn't just quietly spin up 1,000 Upwork profiles and stealthily take over the freelance economy. Well, the reason would be because obviously there is a level of passion behind the people who are creating this technology, and they see a future for it. They're not looking just to greedily take over the economies that already exist. They're looking to build a new one. Pessimistic outlooks as well, 14%, so you have to help it with 86% of these trivial tasks. What are you expecting, sir? Again, the perspectives are so wide and varied here, but if everyone had the same perspective, life would be quite boring. Yeah, this is just a technology that changes everything, I think. If it really works as well as they say it does, I'd love to see what everyone else is working on in the background. If OpenAI has something at this level, they should. This is what they should be working towards. I think this is the next obvious step for AI, is autonomous interaction, autonomous building, autonomous task completion. GPT-5 released, and it's not even from OpenAI. What the hell? Let me know what you think about this, guys. I have nothing else to say. I'm speechless other than I'm going to try to get access. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye.